Well, 3 people die every day in the UK while waiting for an organ transplant. And to tackle the problem, the government is reviewing how donation works. Currently, a donor has to make it known that their organs can be used after their death, the so-called opt-in system. But now an opt-out system under which your organs can be used unless you expressly ask for them not to be is being considered. Well, joining me today to discuss both sides of this hugely controversial issue is Director of Professional Activities at the British Medical Association, Dr. Vivienne Nathanson, and Vice Chairman of the Donor Family Network, Nigel Burton. Welcome. Well, firstly, Nigel, you're for the opt-in system, the current system. How does it work and why are you in favour of it?
At present, if somebody wishes to be an organ donor, they go onto the NHS website and register their interest and which organs they wish to donate if they die in the present circumstances. That is a system I agree with at the moment because it's definitely an alterative gift. You're saying that yes, you want to give this gift on your death. An opt-out system only works if the understanding of your populace is that they understand if they don't opt out, they are definitely opting into this system. And I think at the moment, the understanding and the information, the population we have in the UK at the moment will not fully appreciate that. So they may not fully appreciate they have opted in.
Vivienne, the opt-out system, I guess from your perspective, why is it a good thing? What exactly is it to start with?
Well, to start with, it's a system in which you have a lot of publicity and then you get people to put their name on a list if they wouldn't want to be a donor if they died in the right circumstances. We think that will be a minority of people. We know that 90% of the population want to be donors, but only 30% have their names on the opt-in register. So we would expect to see about 90%, or at least only 10% opting out. That could potentially increase the numbers of donors, but most importantly, because of the scale of the publicity that we'd need to have to make sure everyone knew what they had to do, everyone would discuss this with their families. And that's the key, because currently when people die, their families don't know what their wishes would be. And families will often say no because they don't know what the person who's died would have wanted. And that often is a tragic loss because it's not actually carrying out the will and the wishes of the person who's died.
And as you mentioned there, 90% of people actually would be willing to donate their organs, yet only 30% are actually signed up to do so. Is it just apathy, or is it just the fact that people are not aware of this debate or of this issue?
I think it's a mixture of reasons. There'll be apathy from some, but I think probably the biggest reason is we put it off because none of us expect to die tomorrow. And we think there's plenty of time to put my name on that list. And it's when something unexpected happens and it's tomorrow that you die that nobody has had the discussion, that nobody knows what your wishes are and your name isn't on the list. But with an opt-out system where there would be a deadline by which you had to register your wishes, then I think that there would be far more discussion with the family and people actually taking action, or the action that they needed to take.
Nigel, in terms of, I guess, the public and what they know about the issue, do you think we are informed in the UK here about what I guess needs to be discussed?
I don't think there's enough information out there, and as Vivienne says, there needs to be a very good publicity campaign for people to be aware of it. My concern at the moment is under the present economic climate, you wouldn't get that funding out of the government sufficient to do that. It would be quite a big undertaking for a country our size, and that's where my issues are. I don't think we would get there with the amount of funding we'd get.
Sure, Vivienne, I guess just wrapping up, what would you like to see going forward?
I'd like to see the campaign for an opt-out system, but predominantly as well because it gets everyone discussing. What I want is everyone to discuss with their family what their wishes would be, so that no family ever faces the circumstance that they have to make the decision with absolute ignorance about what their loved one would have wanted.
And Nigel, your thoughts on the future?
Hopefully, whichever way they go, I can't see it being too negative to the impact of organ donation. Anything that gets people or families talking about organ donation has to be good. So hopefully, if they do decide to go for an opt-out, it will get people talking and will hopefully generate more donations and won't be a negative impact.
Well, some interesting thoughts there, and my thanks to Dr. Vivienne Nathanson and Nigel Burton for joining us. If you want to continue the debate on organ donation, please go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Benenden Healthcare, or to find out more about general issues of health and wellbeing, go to benenden.org.uk. Thanks for watching and goodbye.